Project more? Yes. Ha-ha. Okay, so I was an actor, singer, and dancer for years, performed for like 30 years, and one of the big, giant mistakes, missing pieces, things that people are not paying attention to, is that you can't do anything without your body, right? It's a really simple fact, and we all forget it. And so when I think about living water, right, I'm a water fat bag, I'm a jiggly little water fat bag, and Jesus, hallelujah, said, I am living water. I came from the church. I came from the Pentecostal church, and we really believe in taking care of the physical form. It's supposed to be like your temple, you know, where church happens. So if you're not paying attention to the physical form, you know, what's really going on? I'm missing a huge, like the biggest missing piece in creativity, the biggest missing piece in entrepreneurship, the biggest missing piece in loving yourself and loving your life is remembering, I can't do anything without this vehicle. This is the guy that I am walking around in and doing things in. So if you consider yourself consciousness, then water is conscious, right? Does everybody agree with that? Let me teach you a song first. We'll talk about it later, okay? It's easier to learn things through art, right? I can talk all day. I can give you lectures all day on the science of how amazing the human form is. And you're still going to think that this is more amazing than me or you. And it's not. You're a hydroelectric organic computing machine. I'm going to teach you a little call and response song. I got to, you know, use my heart. So I do it like this. You can all follow along. I'll call out what you're going to say, and then you respond. You guys have done this a million times, okay? So it's body healthy, head right, stretch them both out. Every night, body healthy, head right, stretch them both out. That's your part. Get it? Body healthy, head right, stretch them both out. Every night, body healthy, head. I can't hear you. Body healthy, head right, stretch them both out. Every night, I am. You keep doing your part. I am. You keep doing your part. Body healthy, head right, stretch them both out. Every night, body healthy. You got to keep your part. Sustain. Here we go. I am living water. What? Body healthy, head right, stretch them both out. Every night, body healthy. Come on, y'all. Wake up. Y'all had coffee. You see what I'm saying? Oh, stretch them both out. Every night, I am protein, right? Body healthy, head right. And you can do this all day. Okay, that's good, choir. That was beautiful. You guys are going to be a great choir by the end of this. But first, we have to really get excited about who and what we are. So that's what I teach. The IBU, Operating System of Education, teaches children. They are hydroelectric, organic computing machines. They are the technology that they're looking for. And they actually have access to a motherboard of information. Okay? It's proprietary. It's individuated. It belongs to you. You have intellectual property rights over it. It can only come out of you. That little blurb, body healthy, head right, I totally stole it from one of my favorite poets. He never did it on stage. It's a tiny little part of his poem, right? A few little words that I can just go, that doesn't really belong to anybody. These couple of words, Shakespeare probably said body, healthy, head, right, stretch. All those words are free, right? So I can take those words and make them into something that I would do, just like I did art. So because I got myself hydrated, I studied with a neurologist, Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, and she is a mother of an autistic, or a child who was autistic. She cured a child. She was a neurologist, a neurosurgeon, and she was like, I have nothing. I have an autistic child, and I can't cure them. They're going to be autistic for the rest of their life. And so instead of, Seattle, depression, she said, no, I'm a neurologist. I'm intelligence itself. I can figure this out. We've been figuring things out forever. Everybody knows that chicken soup cures the common cold. They just lie about it on advertisements. You know what I mean? So she thought, I'm going to figure this out. It's got to start with love. I got to really love my kid enough to think that I can be even smarter than I am today, right? And what's going to do that? Well, I got to get this physical form back in shape so I can actually help my baby. What's going to make his physical form better? My physical form being better. And she started realizing connections between the gut flora, mineral uptake, hydration, etc., that actually rule this gut brain. You got a whole nother brain down here in your gut. Who knew that? Does anybody know about the gut brain? This is Seattle, yes! So one of my favorite things about Seattleites is they're really active. I'm looking at a group of people that are in really good shape. We're all like in our 40s and stuff, and we're doing great. If you go to the Midwest, yo, you guys, we're really on top of our health. I'm telling you, we all look like stars. We look like we work out like professional athletes all the time. We're hiking, biking, doing probiotics, and we're wondering how come the rest of the world doesn't know how fabulous, Seattleites are. But a part of it is their lack of nutrition, their lack of understanding. I'm water, literally. I gotta have minerals to conduct the information that water has from what some people call the Akashic records, or that unknown source of encyclopedic knowledge. If I'm going to conduct information from where the cork goes, nobody knows where the cork goes. The cork knows where it goes, and when it goes, it gathers information, it brings it right back to your body. In order for you to understand that connection between what we think of as the air, the atmosphere, it's got water in it, right? It's got particles of stuff in it too. Particles of everything that's ever been is actually in the water, right? In order for me to be able to communicate to that quirky place, get it, quirky black girl? You guys get it? Okay. So in order for me to get to that quirky place, I actually have to be hydrated. I actually have to have those minerals in my body. I actually have to be able to get from the nothing to the something to be creative, right? Creative sparks. So again, a whole other brain down here. You've got all kinds of creative sparks that are happening, and you're not able to contact them because you don't have enough minerals. You've got what Dr. Natasha calls leaky gut syndrome. Anybody heard of the GAPS diet? GAPS diet is gut and psychology syndrome. I got a couple people, probably know somebody that's autistic or schizophrenic, ADHD. A lot of neurological disease comes from this brain being unfit. I know, it's sad. We all think that this one is doing all the work, but if you think about it, this brain feeds this brain. And you guys can all look this up later, but there's more neurological tissue down here, in other words, more ability to connect and contact information itself than there is up here. And I'm a believer that there used to not be a blood-brain barrier. I think we got so toxic and gross, massive amounts of disease. We had, slavery for 500 years. We've been at war for 500 years. I think that's a spiritual dis-ease, to think you can't get along with yourself, to think that, I have a different idea of how to see things, and so we have to fight about it. That's a dis-ease. If we think about psychosis, if we think about the horrors that we've witnessed of our children going nuts and shooting people in the schools and things like that. Those things are all preventable dis-eases of the body. Homeostasis, balance is what water, hydration actually gives to the body. One of the reasons that I can still do this and not care and, go hi-ya and not care is because I have a neurological ability to do that. It's not just because I've been dancing. I know people who are 47 that used to be able to do that and they can't do it anymore. I know people who used to be able to do yoga and touch their, wind their, and they can't do it anymore as their body ages. Everybody tells them there's no repairing it. And I'm here to tell you there is. You can repair everything. Anything, right? We can do anything. We live in an infinite universe of infinite intelligence. Anything is possible, you see? And so when I go back again to this picture of the Pentecostal faith, I say, oh my God, 2 years ago, I couldn't draw. I'm not kidding, okay? I was a dancer, actor, singer, director, producer, blah, 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 curator, put over $250,000 back into the Seattle economy selling art in 2 years. Nobody even did that out of a gallery, a small-owned gallery. You know how I got it done? Hydration. I realized that my body was really important. I got my neurology working. I got this gut brain working. A lot of us like to drink tea, right? Some people, they like something hot in the morning. Here's a body starter. Get yourself some bone broth, some organic bone broth with lots of minerals in it, and it's got a lot of water. Your body's gonna use everything in there. Don't put some fat in it. Lord knows my granny and butter. You see that foot at the bottom? That foot, that's what I tee off with, is butter, okay? That's mama's milk. That's the thing that actually builds the gut tissue, that brain tissue down here. Mama's milk. Everybody's afraid of breasts. They all want to look at them and sell them and squeeze them. But nobody wants to admit that they're these genius machines. You know, the Industrial Revolution has nothing on what the human body can do for itself. And one of them is think, and the other is recognize my connection to absolutely everything. If you have, you know, religion's gross, they're all so mean. Most of them are talking about love, and people misinterpret it. They use love as a weapon to shank people. You know what I mean? But we all know what that really meant, and we can get back to that message. And I've studied loads and loads of religion. They all talk about treating your body really healthy, loving your neighbor, things like that, because that's you right there, okay? So I'm going to get to some questions in just a second. I just wanted to give you hype on water. Okay, so water, your BMI. Who knows what the BMI is? There we go. What is that measuring? Body mass index. What does that mean? Just give me a general definition of what you think it is. What? Fat ratio. Fat ratio. Anybody else got an answer for that? Which way?
The weight versus the height.
The weight versus the height, BMI, those are all in there, yeah. Anything else? Guess what it's really measuring? Your sodium and potassium balance. How quickly, how well, how efficiently you can get water in and out of your system, right? Because when we're talking food in the system, we're talking your blood, which is basically salt water, remember? So how efficiently am I getting all that fuel in and out of the cells? At what rate am I doing that? If I'm doing it at a radical rate and I got cuts and, you know, the Janet Jackson belly, I'm really hydrated. If I'm not, you know, there's other stuff going on. And I know people of all sizes and types love their figures, and that's all beautiful. But if I can't think, right? If I'm not creative from the time I get up until the time I lay down, if I can't teach myself to draw after not knowing how to draw for 45 years, I couldn't draw, got my gut in order, and all of a sudden my neurology understands perspective. It understands my heart. You understand, my neurology is explaining who I am to the world. It's the technological explanation of who and what I am individually. And if I don't have that in control, I don't know who I am, literally. And I'm sure you guys have noticed, they're like, well, she's an actor, but I've seen other actors come and, you know, give a talk or whatever. They don't seem that comfortable with themselves. They don't feel like I could just go and shake somebody's hand and, hi, how you doing? I'm a normal person just like you, right? It's because of my neurology. When you get your probiotic balance is a big part of that gut brain. In order to keep those probiotics healthy and happy, you've got to be hydrated. And when you get that imbalance, your immune system is flowing. You're not afraid of someone who is sick. Your body will actually give you a repulse signal of someone who is sicker than you are, because it's trying to not get sicker. So once you get that immune system, what's starting the immune system? Getting food in and out of the system, right? I have to get that water in and out of the system. What's doing that? Sodium and potassium balance. What does sodium do? Anybody know what sodium does as a chemical? What's its properties? What is the effect on the human body? You all know this. You know, ladies, it retains water. We hate it. You know what I mean? You're like, ugh, salt. It's just so bloaty, right? That's because we're using partial salt, not the whole thing. We want to get whole food salts with more than one mineral so that we can actually get things in and out. We need potassium and all kinds of things in a real salt, okay? So sodium draws things in, and then potassium lets them out again. And the rate at which you are able to do that means, well, gosh, I ate my green vegetables. I put proper salts on my food. I got fat, right? My cell walls are all made out of fat. I get fat in my diet, but I have to be digesting all of it. You have to be digesting the minerals in your water. What's doing that? Your probiotics. It's all connected. If I don't like black people. And this is a good one, because we all know about Henrietta Lacks, don't we? Y'all saw the untold story of Henrietta Lacks using the sister's blood to create all these inventions. You know, there are particular people, and a lot of it happens to deal with how much melanin you have in your system. Just highly melanated people have a different relationship with the sun. All right, so we technically can understand more information coming from the world around us, all right? So when that occurs and you go, oh, you gotta use this other person's blood to figure out how to do this and that, not really. What you gotta do is get your own immune system in order, turn your own DNA on. We all know food and water, digestive properties are what turns your DNA on and off. You didn't used to have diabetes, and then you ate Twinkies every day, and then you had diabetes, you know what I'm saying? So we can turn those things off and on in our own body. We don't have to steal it from anybody else. Our body knows everything that water knows, and water knows everything since the beginning of time, right? It's holding all the information. It's like the DNA of the planet. It's sort of the most brilliant thing ever. You know, when I was younger, in order to encourage other people to drink water, I would always have like an Evian bottle or a Fiji bottle in a really nice like leather bag or whatever, and I made it my Gucci. You know, I was like, oh, you spent $500 on a Coach bag, $1.50 water, gonna look young forever. You know what I mean? That was my modus operandi. I'm my Gucci bag, I'm my Chanel, you know, I'm my Vera Wang, for God's sake. Screw her dress, I wanna look like that without the dress on, right? So if I'm gonna do that, I gotta be hydrated, I gotta be digesting, I gotta be excited about life. I have to be creative about ways to get that in. Who knows about bone broth? It's everywhere now, right? Who's drinking it? Okay, like half the people that know about it are drinking it. Now, you guys, the Just Do It model that Nike gave us, right? You actually have to engage in your own mental and physical health. The young woman from, one of the most important things about your mental health is staying physically healthy. The reason that I sit at home and draw instead of scream out my window, Black Lives Matter, you know what I mean? Things like that. Women's lives matter. The reason I don't do that is because I have other things to do with my time. I write, I curate, I dance, I do all the things that we all want to be doing with our bodies, but sometimes can't because we forgot it was about, starting with me, self-love, sweep around this front porch, right? Get myself in order, get this house in order, and then I can go out engaging the rest of the world. So does anybody have any questions about water? I'm gonna go into the IBU operating system of education in a minute. How much time do I have? 5, okay, perfect. Okay, first of all, these I got at Daiso. Does anybody know Daiso? You know, don't we all, we love Daiso, right? $1.50, okay? These are usually like 20 bucks. It's 24 oil pastels. You can get these for $1.50 at Daiso. I don't want to hear one person say, it's too expensive to become an artist. I used paper, pencil, and basically crayons to start my art career, okay? So no excuses, I can't be creative. You know, grab my card, I'll teach you how to, you know, retrain your brain and all of that. But one of the main things that I love about using my body as my main tool is that it seems lo-fi, but it's the highest and most advanced technology that anybody ever has access to, this body. All right, they're mimicking all of our computers, all of our technology is mimicking only, never getting it right, but only mimicking what the human form can do. So after I did the IBU operating system of education, we can talk about that later, I've only got 5 minutes, I actually wrote a musical. Well, I wrote several. I wrote a bunch of plays, I did a bunch of podcasts. I'm telling you, it's like cocaine being healthy. It's like you feel on top of the world, like you can do anything all the time, but it doesn't break your teeth out, you know? you don't have to spend that much on water, like I said, as you do cocaine. So I wrote a musical, and all of these pictures, we can go through them, you know, after but all of this came out of this musical that I wrote, and I turned it into a teaching tool. I've got all the set designs done. I got all the costumes. You guys, I wasn't able to do set design, costume design. If I would have, it would have already been on my resume. I couldn't draw. You know what I mean? I'm one of those go-getters. I'm gonna go do as much as I can. And without getting my body in order for 45 years, I couldn't write a play. Don't you, at the end of your life, want to do all of those things? Right? That you thought, I'm capable of anything. Why didn't I learn how to play the piano or learn Spanish or something? I'm telling you, language that I learned in high school started coming back. Ideas that I had as a child started coming back. You can regrow, you know, neurological tissue. It's just fat. You can regrow all of that stuff. All right? Don't let anybody tell you. Again, you live in an infinite universe of infinite intelligence. Don't let anybody tell you there's anything you can't not do. This is the final, you know, Joe Bell 1-in-1. Don't you ever tell me that there is something you cannot do. Ever. I don't ever want to hear that come out of your mouth. And if I do, you're going to get it. All right? That's how I grew up. Weren't you scared just now? Weren't you scared to say I can't? Like, that's the fear of God that my dad put in me, you know? So anything is possible. Start with you. Start with hydration. Start with water. It's fallen out of the sky. And it's information. Okay, I'm gonna play a little song. This is me, I've always wanted to be a DJ. And now I'm doing like all the lyrics and all the whoop 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 whoop. I'm 47. I'm like whoop 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 whoop, right? Look how healthy this woman looks. And when you get it like that in your body, I can do anything. Okay, listen, I wrote this like 2 days ago. All of us. Gifted and everybody. Okay, and oops, sorry. It's so great it won't stop playing. It just won't. So I wrote that 2 days ago. I sent it to Aretha Franklin's pianist. He's a good friend of mine. He's from Seattle. Okay, he's from Seattle. His name's Nick Rolfe. He looks like a freaking dreadlocked angel, kind of like a Bob Marley mixed with a Lenny Kravitz, like mixed with God. Anyway, Nick Rolfe loves the song, and I'm trying to get him to do this musical. So I've got a bunch of stuff that you can, a little silent auction there. You can get some of the songs that I've written. You can get the play. It's all going to be silent auction. You don't know what you're going to get. You just have to trust yourself. You're gonna get something really good, okay? But give me, the highest bid possible. I've got prints over there of my art so I can get this going. I really want to create this musical. It's already written. I've got the IBU School of Education to teach musicians to be teachers and get them back into school with a nutrition plan. Help me out, Seattle. Let's get Aretha Franklin's pianist to do a musical with Quincy Jones, shall we? That's all my time. I'll be here for a little while. Thank you all so much for your attention and caring about being creative, caring about community and connection. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
All right, we do have a few minutes for questions for Melany. So does anyone have a question?
Yes.
I'm curious what inspired you to get all fired up about your gut.
Well, being an artist my whole life, a lot of actors have, they drink too much, they smoke too much, they do too much coke, but they want to feel like that, you know what I mean? And so I love these people, and I want to help them. And so I was doing a lot of stuff, and I was like, well, I could always be getting better. I'm sure there's something I don't know. Let me go back and get like 3 master's degrees in nutrition. That's another thing I did. In like 5 years, I got like 3 master's certifications in nutrition, applied kinesiology, gut and psychology syndrome. I mean, we're supercomputers, you guys. You know what I mean? Like once we get our body like really in alignment, you see some people that are super successful, just think what they could do if they actually, had their body in alignment too. So that's what it was. Just loving people, wanting them to be well. Yeah.
Have you heard of the book Hidden Messages in the Water?
Oh yeah, Dr. Emoto. Yeah, brilliant. One of my favorite mentors. And there's also Batman Gelich. Do you know The Body's Many Cries for Water? It's an excellent, and it's just more science-based of the practical application to the body. He was getting rid of, by hydrating people, he would get rid of peptic ulcer, rheumatism, arthritis, like all kinds of things were going away by people actually paying attention to their electrolyte balance. Anybody else? Yeah?
If it's possible to answer this, what would be some quick tips for somebody who's dehydrated to start being hydrated?
Bone broth. That's one of the best ways. I highly recommend organic. We all know why people go vegan, gross. And then a little fat in there to retain those healthy minerals in water. Yes?
I just think you're amazing.
Oh, thank you. You too. You're gorgeous piece of person. How do you feel? Yeah.
I have a quick request. I don't know if you guys send an email out afterward, but if you could recommend a few books that because I didn't catch all that.
Sure,
But
yeah.
I would love any reading you
That's a
recommend.
great idea. I have a huge list of books that I can just email to everybody. If
Yeah, we'll figure
I'll
out.
send it to you. And
Yep.
anything else? Anybody else?
All right, let's give another round of applause for
Oh,
Melany.
thank you. Thank you guys.